Obama was such a disappointment.
Right.
He stoked racial hatred, not even hatred. I don't believe there was that racial hatred. He tries to act like America's a racist country. America's the least racist country. And he stoked that to try to get votes and to push fear. Yeah. And he had such an ability, if he would have wanted to bring America together, and he squandered that.
MAGA conservatives must not trust their current campaign agenda of pursuing Hunter Biden, and since they support the biggest criminal in modern American history in Trump, it looks like they're hoping to gain momentum with their most basic and heartfelt principle of racism. I guess they figure it'll work since many of their core supporters are also ignorant and racist too.
And he started all this trouble.
What trouble?
That's racism and all that.
The division of the United States has all come from Obama.
In what way?
Because he's black and he tore it one way and tore it one way.
Keep it flying? And why do you want to keep it flying?
Why would anybody want to erase our heritage?
Well, some people would say that flag symbolizes racism, it symbolizes slavery, and they might have some valid points there. Are you pro-slavery or against slavery?
I have no comment, but thank you for the interview.
I'll give you one more chance. Pro or anti-slavery?
No comment.
I'll give you one more opportunity to say if you're pro or anti-slavery.
No comment.
They were a slave. They were given housing, food, clothing, medical care. The people asked them to work. Yes, there were landowners that were violent and mean to some of them, but there were others that were humanistic. The Civil War was something that no one could do anything about because the whites, quote unquote, whites from the South are not the only ones that had slaves. Slaves are all over the world. Slaves still exist today.
The extreme amount of racism that pumps through conservative political discussions isn't some kind of secret that only libs see. Pundits and politicians know who their audience is, and the narratives they've fed them for decades ensures that they identify with their bigotry. They can't separate themselves from it.
If you took the exact same student and you took away, skin color, sexual orientation, trans, gender, status, whatever the heck that may be, if you took that away and you compared the scores of Asians and or whites relative to any of the other sort of, let's call them, checkbox, woke status symbols today of the radical left, and you put them head to head, it's shocking. Who is able to get into Harvard and who would be unilaterally deterred or just rejected entirely. That has gone on. And if you can check off one or preferably more of those woke boxes, you don't have to actually be a great academic student. You don't have to have all sorts of extracurriculars.
Unilaterally deterred or rejected entirely. Donnie Jr. has no idea that he described America's policy towards black and other systematically disenfranchised groups since the country's inception. He has no way of ever learning that because he openly devalues the presence of black people at institutions like Harvard or anywhere else. He doesn't know that he can learn things from Americans that aren't like him because he thinks he's superior to anyone that's not like him. And yes, that's a byproduct of American slavery that MAGA supporters daydream about.
I would ask blacks, were you better off 4 years ago? Of course you were, which raises the question, was all the hyperbole over identity politics and white supremacy merely deception tools to convince blacks that the Dems were their only ally, that you couldn't trust the other party because they were racist? And it's the Republicans who will victimize you, not the Democrats, who tell you that you're constantly oppressed, so they keep you in their pocket. It's one way to keep the racists at each other's throat, so you don't see how bad the libs have been treating you.
Greg Gutfeld said that he'd ask blacks right before he went into a superiority complex-filled rant by answering the question he didn't ask blacks because he doesn't respect blacks enough to do that. The arrogance to literally tell black Americans what their lives and experiences are in a country that's well known for its existence being built off of the enslavement of the people he's lecturing is only normal because white supremacy is normal, and they know their supporters love it.
They're trying to cram this
down our throat, these people that are not like us. You know what Americans want? It's pretty clear when they elected Trump. Trump got up there and he didn't say, hi, we're going to bring the workers of the world unite. You know, black, Hispanic, and white workers for populism. Let's unionize DoorDash. Trump went up there and said, they're bringing drugs, crime, they're rapists. You know, he said, I'm calling for a shutdown of Muslims coming into America. You know, we're going to say Merry Christmas. He was like this close to saying the N-word. You know, like, that's what Americans want. That's what this guy talks like us. He's our hero. He said, I'm your voice.